Hello, App Creator class. Today's activity is activity 1.7, game time. It's in the lesson 1 folder, Let's Create an App, and then it's in the asynchronous learning. And you'll notice that it's from Wednesday to Friday. So you're actually going to get Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to get this completed. And remember, you're only supposed to be working on these things for about a half an hour each day. So that gives you an hour and a half to get all of this done. If you do get this done early, you still need to come back each day and fill out the attendance activity for the day, otherwise you'll be marked absent. Only the attendance activity for the day will show up on the day. So today we see the 18th on there. Tomorrow on Thursday, it'll be the 19th, and then Friday, it'll show the activity for the 20th. So looking inside this folder, we see that we start off with these instructions that you're watching right now. There's also a reference video here on the use of variables in computer programming. You can watch that if you want or not. That's just reference material. You can get the same information from the Project Lead the Way website. And then we have our usual Google document and a place to turn in the file when you're all done. For the Google document, there are 4 questions there, and then your screenshots like normal. And then for the file upload, it's the same process that you do before. Make sure that you export the completed project, Game Time project or Germ Fighter project, and upload that one. Don't upload the data file that we start with, because then you won't get any credit for it. Also, since this one's a little bit more involved, on Friday, I will also be posting a picture of the code blocks that you have to have done. So if you're a little unsure on whether or not you have everything right, you can wait until Friday and then come back on Friday and open up this link here, the Germ Fighter code blocks, and then compare your app in App Inventor with the picture that will be posted there. And then you can double check to make sure all your code blocks are where they need to be. And then after that, you can upload your finished file into Schoology. Okay, so for this activity, you're going to need Schoology open in one tab. You're going to need the Project Lead the Way open in another tab. And in the curriculum, you're going to have to go to Lesson 1 and then find Activity 1.7 Game Time. And then finally, you're going to have App Inventor. And there is a data file for this, and you will find that in the curriculum. If you scroll down just a little bit to where it says resources, we have the A17 Germ Fighter file here. You click on it to download it and then import it into App Inventor. On this Project Lead the Way page here, there's a lot here about variables and sprites and the different data types and how we use variables and things like that, how we track variables. You can read through all of that stuff if you'd like, or you can watch that reference video. They contain roughly the same things. But for the instructions to complete the Germ Fighter game, you're going to scroll down to where it says Germ Fighter game, or you can also click over here in the table of contents where it says the Germ Fighter game. Then you're going to start from here and do what it says. And you notice that in the design requirements here, we have a white blood cell, which is the hero, the germ, which is the villain, and then there are win and loss conditions. So I have this loaded up here in an emulator, and you can see that it's kind of like a Pong type game. Where the green germ is going to be the ball, and the white blood cell is the paddle. We have a start and a reset button, and then a checkbox to whether or not we want to play the sound. On this emulator, sound doesn't work, so I'm going to uncheck this box for turning off the sound. And basically what you do is you just click on the start button, and then the germ will start moving, and I have this slowed down on purpose here because it's hard to play this on the emulator. But you see that there's a timer up there. If you can keep the germ in play there for 10 seconds, then you win. You get a screen that says great job, and then if you have your sound turned on, you get some fanfare. You can hit the reset button, and if you lose, get it out of the way here so I do lose. If you don't go 10 seconds, then you get the game over, and then you get a sound of people that are going, "Aw," so that you know that you didn't win. Now, every time that you hit the germ, your score goes up by 1. You can see the score up in the top left corner there. So that's what our end result is going to be, or we want the end result to be. What we start off with is this, so not too much there. And on the block side of things, you can see that we have even fewer. There's nothing in there at all. So your task is to follow all of these instructions and work your way through. Now, I will mention that it is rather long here. It goes down, start off at instruction 1, and we go all the way down to instruction 59. Now, one of the little gotchas here in this is that when you get to the very end, we've got this clock 1 timer event handler that we have out. And then the next instruction says, refer back to the timer flowcharts and add the code to complete the algorithm. So it doesn't give you the exact blocks to put in here. So what you have to do is you have to go back up until you see the flowchart right here, and it's this flowchart on the right. So we have to decrement time left by 1, update the timer label, do an if statement to see if our time left is 0, and then act accordingly. If there is no time left, show the you win message. If there's still time left, then you go down here. Now, I will tell you that by the time you get to this point, you've already done all of these types of things in another form somewhere in the app. So you should be able to find a line where instead of decrementing time left by 1, that you have incremented or increased the score by 1. And so you can use that as a template to figure out how you can take 1 away from the time left. We've already updated the timer label, or the score label in this particular instance, so you could use that as a template to update the timer label. And we've already got a whole if block that checks to see whether or not you've lost. This if block here is to check to see if you've won. So if you can find that if block that checks to see if you lost, you can look at see how that works and modify it so that it fits this flowchart. And once again, remember that on Friday, I'll have those code blocks posted in Schoology, so then you can double check to see if the code that you have in your clock 1 timer is the same as what I have in mine. Okay, and then the last step then is test your app. If you happen to have an Android tablet or phone, then you can do that. Otherwise, you'll just have to hang on to the app and turn it in like normal, and then when we get back in school, you can use one of the school tablets to check it out and see how your game works. So that is the activity not only for Wednesday, but also Thursday and Friday. Also worth noting is that in the instructions, this was supposed to be a paired programming where you work with a partner, but since we're remote, you don't have partners, so you'll just have to go through and do the whole thing on your own. And you'll see that in the instructions here, when we get to the instruction part, it will say things like switch roles, determine who will start as a driver and who will start as a navigator. And then later on, it'll say something like switch roles. And then if we were in the classroom, then you'd switch places, and the driver would be the navigator and the navigator would be the driver for a little portion of it. And then you'd go on from there. But since you're going to have to do this all on your own, here's where it says switch programming roles. Since you're doing it all on your own, you're just going to go down 1 to 59 and then check it out and turn it in, turn your Google Doc in, and don't forget to come back and open up those attendance activities for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday on those days to make sure that you answer those questions that are in there so that you can be counted as present for the class. If you have any questions as you're going through any of this, or have any problems logging into App Inventor or Project Lead the Way or anything like that, you can always email me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So have fun creating your app.